There's a story my wife told me years ago. It's a joke. I'll fit it in here. About the very pious drowning man. You've heard this one before, haven't you? Forgive me if you have. On the boat sinks, and he offers up a prayer, "Oh Lord, I trust in you, you will deliver me." And along comes a rowboat. They hold out a hand. "Get in the boat." "No, I've prayed to God, I believe in God, God will deliver me." Along comes a helicopter. "Can we lift you up?" "No, I've prayed to God and God believes me and I believe in God and God will deliver me." And the man drowns, of course. As we all know, when the man confronts God and says, "Hey, I believed in you, why didn't you save me?" He said, "What do you think that boat and that helicopter are all about anyway?" I tell this story because too often we have hopes that are extravagant hopes. I want to win the lottery. I want to marry the most beautiful girl in the world. I want to be a success. I want to be president, whatever. These are grandiose hopes. Unfortunately, age cures that in due time. But all of us can remember having grandiose hopes. None of my hopes ever came true. None of the grand ones did. And here's the key. Here's what you need to learn. It's only when all of our phony hopes, our grandiose hopes, our great big juicy Christmas Eve hopes get splintered and thrown away, when we aren't going to be the president or a billionaire or a rock star or a basketball player or any of those things, when we turn out to be just a father and just a husband, just a citizen, and we look at those things and say, "How lucky am I?" That's the moment when hope begins to be real. 6, 7 years ago, I was with my wife in Baltimore as we sat around my mother-in-law, who was dying after a very unusual accident. She was all present and yet completely paralyzed. A woman who had been a struggle to live with all of my in-law years. And I watched her surrender her life better than anyone I have ever seen. Everything was taken away from her, and she was giving up the very last with an equanimity I had never imagined her capable of giving. And yet, here she was, leading me, showing me, giving me a vision of death that I never expected. My son, some years ago, had a terrific youthful failure, and we couldn't help him out of it. "Don't worry, he's fine." In fact, what happened was he resolved to overcome that failure and achieved even more than he set out to do the first time. His lost hope became the birth of a new hope. And every Sunday I stand up here, I have a grandiose notion that I'll give a great sermon. And every now and then, when I lose hope of that, it happens. When I give up trying to be a great preacher and just look at you and say, "How lucky am I to have you in my life?" Those are the moments when we experience real hope, which, like Christmas, only happens in the midnights of life, when everything is lost and gone and cold, because it's only then that we can see the stars. Amen and amen. We're going to sing 2 beautiful verses that end on hope. The Sussex Carol is one of the most charming songs in all of carols. "I seek the spirit of a child," verses 1 and 2. Release the child in you and smile in a way that lights up the world. Release the child in you and shine a light on all you see. Be hopeful not in grand things but in small things, in children, in trees, in lights, in stars, and all the things that we forget were gifts that we never earned. And remember always that this too is a day which the Lord has made. Let us always rejoice and be glad in it. Amen.
Let Christmas come, its story told, when days are short and winds are cold. Let Christmas come, its lovely song, when evening